Backing music was used illegally.
That XP with Remarkable, Unremarkable. He made the album to lift himself up and pull him out of the quagmire. Ain't we all, man? Ain't we all, brother?
I went on a stag do to London the other year.
Very special guest, XP from Flame Griller, the West Yorkshire rap crew. He's a top bloke. Buy everything he does.
The WYcast is made possible by people going on the XP homepage, www.exp.uk, and buying my albums on vinyl and CD and getting merch as well. So big thanks to everyone who has. And if you enjoy these podcasts, please consider helping out by going and buying some. Welcome to Series 3 of the WYcast. I had to rap one. Don't look at me like that. I'm XP, producer, and I rap. Leeds the wires where I hung up my hi-hat. And I did decide that the scene needs a push. There's so many dope artists who don't speak enough. My wife got me a Zoom H2. Cheers, love. So I roam West Yorkshire where the scenery's lush and talk to those involved in the hip-hop scene and what made them turn to rap when they were pissed off teens. Is it just to help them let off steam, or are they trying to live off it, graft endlessly and get some green? Either way, it's sick to be making music in dub Y and reconnect the community with good vibes. Armed with a Zoom recorder, GoPro plus mics, I set up outside and meet people like Muz the Don, aka Mury P from back in the day. Used to be in No Pretense, did loads of work in the sort of original No Pretense and Don't Talk to Strangers era from like many moons ago. But yeah, put out loads of music, did loads of stuff then. And he's been making music the whole time. He's got projects that are released and some that are due to be out very soon. So yeah, we grabbed a little bit of time at Temple Newsam, one of my favourite spots to take the dogs. And yeah, had a good chat. Enjoy. Mury P.
Yeah, man.
Should we get going?
Yeah, do it. Let's
do it. Good man,
Muz
the Don. Mury P, Muz the Don. What are we running with these days?
Muz the Don.
Muz the Don. That's the moniker.
I tried to do a little Spider Lee thing.
Yeah.
You know, when he changed his name. Because
I
came out and came back, and I thought,
sick.
You know what? I've changed, man. You know what I mean? But I didn't want to go too far that people didn't recognise the old.
Yeah,
I get
you. Well, I think it's a good opportunity. It seems like a sort of rebirth time to be doing it. I realise you changed your name a bit before that. Shit, we jumped straight into this. This is like 10 minutes in, man. Let me do the bullshit. Thanks for joining me at Temple Newsam. A little bit of bullshit knowledge about Temple Newsam. Hitler told his the people bombing the UK to leave that alone because he wanted that if he took over England. Seriously? He was going to have a little summer house, Temple Newsam. So there you go. Really liked it here. So yeah, he was right. It's sick here. So fair play. Hitler got one thing right.
Yeah.
Muz the Don. I've known you since back in the day when you were rapping as a duo, No Pretense.
That's right.
You were really heavily involved in the hip hop scene, West Yorkshire. You worked your ass off and all the rest of it, and it's a joy. It's a joy to have you on, man. And just fucking finally get to chat to you on this. Man. So
definitely.
Thank you very much for coming on.
We go way back, really, don't we?
Yeah, exactly, man. And I kind of want to go into that if I can. But bro, I don't know. I don't know you that well, to be fair, even though we've bumped.
No, it's not like we've hung out or
all. No,
you know
exactly.
What I mean?
Just been in the same studio at the same time, which is kind of a cool reason.
Same gigs and you know, just
exactly.
Sort of, you know what I mean? We just get on when we meet and that's it. You know what I mean?
Defo.
It's good, man. It's good.
When were you born, bro? What's your birth year?
1980.
1980. Okay, nice. Yeah. And what's you were brought up where? Were you born in
Dewsbury?
Dewsbury, right?
So Thornhill, Dewsbury. So me and Bain.
Were you at the same school together or what?
Yeah. We lived 2 doors down from each other.
No way.
So there was me, then there was my cousin's house, and then Bain lived in that house. So
were you already into hip hop? So how did you get into music and writing and stuff like that?
So about 91, 92, something like that. So I was 11, 12 year old, and I don't know. To be honest, I don't recall how it happened, but I just have memories of me and Bain listening to Cypress Hill and Snoop Dogg. And then that's like, because we knew each other since we were babies, you know what I mean? And sort of hung about a bit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then hip hop, I think, was what really brought me and him together, you know what I mean? Like, into a crew. And then we were just listening to hip hop. Then with his mate Monkey, who lived right across the road from us as well.
Yeah.
The 3 of us were listening to Cypress Hill, like 90s hip hop stuff. And then, so that's really how it first started for me, you know what I mean?
Nice. What about writing then? When did you first go, do you know what, I'm having a go at this?
Well, the funny thing with writing with me, you know, the way my brain works, it's not conventional, you know what I mean? Honestly, it's not conventional at all. It took me a while to sort of learn how to write properly with lyrics.
Yep.
You know, like for example, Bane's like a bit of a natural. He's such a gifted guy. You know what I mean, in his creativity and that. So,
Yeah.
but for me, it was more of a struggle. I wanted to be creative, and I feel like I had to put a lot more effort into actually writing rhymes.
Ah,
So
right.
I remember back probably when we was about 13, I was writing rhymes like from. We were freestyling stuff over like one of the old cassette tapes and stuff like that, you know, in American accent, and I had a proper squeaky voice at the time, you know, so probably hilarious stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we were getting into sort of the Britcore stuff, you know, of hip hop, and so I was writing down, but I could never seem to write past a verse. I couldn't write a full song, you know what I mean? And I just couldn't get it.
Right.
And I remember Bane wrote a song. He finished the full song, and we each had a verse, you know, on it. I still even remember one of the verses, which is funny enough, but
man.
I won't recite it. But it was like, yeah. So that was like the first full song we performed over a Black Sheep instrumental.
Black Sheep,
Yeah, I
word,
can't
word.
remember what the track was, but
Okay.
yeah, and we was about 13, 14.
So so if you were freestyling over tapes then, but you were struggling to write, did the freestyling come more simply, or could you just
I was
rap for
shit at
days, or-
both.
Right.
You know, I was 11, 12, and I was shit at both. You know what I
was
mean?
it? What was
like-
it that kept you going? Because usually, certainly at that age, I tried loads of shit: rugby, golf, shit at all,
Yeah,
and I don't play rugby or golf now.
See,
so what
I did the same. I sort of like, because my family's like quite athletic.
Oh,
you know what I
okay.
mean? So my sister was like, I think she was in Olympics and stuff, with pole
Damn.
vault and stuff. And my brother was like a cross country runner. And
So your sister was an Olympic pole vaulter, was that?
yeah, she was the old British record for years and stuff.
Fuck
yeah.
off, really?
Yeah.
Jesus, I never knew that. That's
Yeah,
sick.
so I had all that in the family. My dad was a coach, you know, like a speed coach and stuff like that. So, and he was quite well known. So I had that in the family, but I also had Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
So with Cypress Hill, I started smoking a lot of weed.
Right.
You know what I
That
mean?
fucked the athletics bit
yeah,
off.
and then that just went.
But then, so was there? So maybe that sporting determination within you is what, like, okay, I'm
It
shit at
gave me the-
rapping, but I'm gonna keep fucking
Yeah,
rapping.
I'm
'cause
going to
people would
keep
give up
going.
in that
Yeah, and I
situation.
think I've always had that like that determination and motivation to just keep going. I flog a dead horse, you know what I mean, and until it's dust. You know?
By the time I heard you, I'm not wanting to fast forward us through because I still want to go back to this, but like by the time I heard you, you were accomplished as fuck and you weren't that old. So you're obviously like that hard work massively paid off.
Yeah, well, for me at 14, I was taken away from Yorkshire and we moved to Liverpool because we had ties in Liverpool. I won't go into why we left. We just literally dropped bags and left as a
shit.
family.
Okay.
Some serious shit going down. But
damn.
yeah, we went to Liverpool, and then for 4 years while I was over there, I was pretty much on my own. So I used to come back like once a year, and I'd visit like Bane and Monkey and everyone else,
Yeah.
and we'd hang out and stuff. But then I'd go back to Liverpool, and I'd be totally on my own, isolated for like 4 years.
Oh,
I didn't meet anyone over there into hip hop. Because it was all like trackies tucked into socks with Rockport shoes, and everyone used to call me Jeansy because my jeans were down here, you know what I mean? And,
Jeansy.
yeah, and I used to have hair braided back and stuff, you know what I mean? I used to think a right little G, but
Nice.
yeah. So, but then because I was on my own, I was even more determined. So I'd sit in my bedroom, smoke weed, listen to hip hop, write music, and I'd keep writing and writing and writing, and just till I perfected my style a little bit, you know what I mean?
I see.
And when I was about 18, 98, I moved back over here.
Yeah.
I basically dropped bags myself and disowned my family at the time. I was like, I'm not doing this because won't go into it again. But
Yeah.
I came back to Liverpool and hooked up back with Bane, and then that's when I met KFQ.
Yes,
Hards.
a name I'm familiar with, but I've never met the dude. Right.
Yeah,
oh, no,
yeah.
hold on. Matt Hards, did
Matt
you just
Hards,
say?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
of course I knew him then. Yeah, my bad,
Dims
yeah.
and KFQ, Johnny
What's-
Alpha.
Right, yeah, Johnny
Yeah,
Alpha.
Watson G.
Different. They're running with different names. I forgot he was KFQ.
Yeah, we've all had so many different
So,
names,
yeah,
bro.
innit? Trying to keep up with them all, and they were all certain times of that.
Yeah, so I did that when I was 18, came back over, and that's when it all started kicking off, you know, and we started getting a little bit more structure. So we just started writing under, you know, DTTS. We created Don't Talk to Strangers.
Right.
That's when around the time WY was designed, and that came out.
So 18, your decision, which we won't go into, to leave, was it all in your head? Because you could have, I assume you could have pretty much gone anywhere in the UK if you'd have really wanted to. You could go, well, I'm going to London, or was it, do you have
Do you know,
still
I had
ties
this,
back in
like,
Yorkshire?
I had this thing that I'd felt like I was ripped away from where I wanted to be.
Yeah, spiritual home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's what it felt like to me, because I was creating a solid foundation with the music and stuff, and
Yeah.
we really wanted to do that, and I felt like I was just suddenly ripped from that.
At a
So
time when you couldn't text your boys, or
Yeah,
you couldn't
exactly,
stay in touch on
man,
WhatsApp,
exactly.
you're like, maybe send them a letter or something.
yeah,
at best.
fucking pigeon, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so I felt a need to come back. I came back and then I fucking disappeared 3 or 4 years later again. But I felt a need to come back at that point, and I think it was the right thing to do. You know what I mean? Because it was the spark, I think, for all of us, not just.
No,
my
but
part,
everyone
but-
was into it. It was a bubbling, it was a melting pot. And I
Yeah.
remember like that 98 through 2002, the so many people sort of seemed to like
yeah.
graduate
Yeah.
into like performing, putting on nights, putting out stuff
Yeah.
and all the rest of it.
We
And
all
not-
started connecting then, you know what I mean? We'd all going to bread beans, and
Yeah.
Beats and Pieces were massive, and it would just you wasn't isolated anymore, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because I'd
yeah.
spent 4 years isolated in Liverpool. I came over, I was fucking reveling in it.
So were
you know
you
what I
just
mean?
jumping on everything then? Were you like trying to push for performing and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, well, we was just working on like, before, like, because we did Music and Mouthwords, which was like the debut No Pretense album.
What year was that, bro? I don't remember.
Oh, God.
Was that like thousands?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
would have been thousands, like.
Right.
But prior to that, we'd done so much stuff, you know what I mean? We'd like just loads of like single tracks. Like we'd wrote tracks over, like I remember J&D sending us a couple of beats, and we did like a track called Everything and Angel Fishing.
Okay.
And there's so much shit, even with yourself, that's never released.
Yeah,
It's just sat
yeah.
there
You
gathering
know it,
dust.
yeah.
But you do it, and you're like, with the good intention of releasing
Of
it, and then it
course,
just
yeah.
sits there, and you're like, oh, we need to just get ourselves together here, you know,
Get
stop,
other people listening.
put the
to all
joint
that.
down, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
just
yeah.
get some structure.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So
Where
yeah.
did Mury Poppins come in as a name? When did you name yourself that? That was your first moniker.
Yeah, so
Because it's a
so
sick
I've had
name.
a few names before this. I was BC originally when I was like 11,
BC.
12. It stands for Big Craig.
Big
'Cause I
Craig,
was always
because you're
been tiny,
right. You're
yeah.
Craig Whitlock, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
BC, right? Big Craig.
Yeah, and then it changed.
there was
onto-
Jeansy.
Yeah, then there was Jeansy in Liverpool. Yeah, and then there was Morphix. I changed my name to Morphix, which was
Morphix.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
a PHIX by any chance.
It was.
I
Yeah.
feel like I've seen that written down somewhere. Is why I'm
yeah,
saying
you
that.
might have done, man. You
Yeah,
might have done.
yeah.
Yeah, it was actually off a computer game, so
Which
it
one?
was a light being called Dark Rift. It was like
maybe
a
I
fighting
played that
game.
then. Maybe I played.
And it was like a light rift, but there was there's a crazy like scenario with that name, that how it came about, or later on. But
BC,
yeah.
Morphix.
yeah,
And then
it was like I was a bit arrogant and I was a bit cocky when I was younger. You know what I
Right.
mean? I thought I was like the Don. You know,
Yeah,
I literally
yeah.
thought like I was a player. You know what I mean? And I was always dead cocky and that. So I used to call myself the male Mary Poppins because I'm practically perfect in every way. So everyone started calling me Mury Poppins, you know what I mean? And that's how
Right.
it came about, you know what I mean?
That's
So
sick.
it
I
kinda
like
stuck.
that. Mury P. Because I met you as Mury P, definitely. And I'll say that arrogance hadn't left you when I first met you, which is still early thousands, 2001 or something like that.
Yeah.
And you were nice, a lovely bloke, but you were sure of yourself. Do you know what I
Oh,
mean?
God,
Like you
yeah,
could tell,
yeah.
like, which is kind of part and parcel of hip hop. And there is something about hip hop that makes you
It
feel
is,
like that.
but
isn't
it
there?
hides deep insecurities. I mean, I don't mind. I'm an open book, like so. It hides deep insecurities. I obviously went through some shit that I felt the need to be like that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
calmed down now. You know, I'm 44-year-old. You know,
Yeah.
so I don't feel I'm any way like that.
Yeah,
know
you were
what I mean? A
hardly.
different
Yeah, you were
person.
hardly out, and your bars were never like, "I'm so incredibly better than you," and fuck everyone, and I get loads of
No.
money, and it was never like that. But
No.
there was just that. You just had confidence. You just seemed to. You almost like just.
Well, when we
exuded
used to
that.
do gigs, I mean, you see, Bane's like a cross between MF Doom and Batman. He doesn't like to get in front of a camera.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know what I
had
mean?
to drag him to get.
Yeah.
in front
Oh
of this,
yeah.
to be fair,
Oh god.
initially,
Yeah. I'm surprised he did it. You know.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
to be
yeah. He
fair,
was surprised.
He likes to stay anonymous, which is cool. You know what I mean?
get
Like
it.
Attack from the shadows sort of thing. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But with me, because I was always cocky, I was always like when we performed, I'd take the lead in terms of like hyping on stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, get everyone.
And it
up
worked for us, you know what I mean? Like I get in front and like, sometimes create a mosh pit, or try to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
stuff like that. It was good, you know what I mean? But
So with them, when because No Pretense, which was you and Bane, did a lot together, and there were things that I didn't talk to Bane about that sort of occurred to me. Like you guys went out to Europe and did some crazy shows out there, as I remember. Did you do something in Czech
No.
Republic one time?
No.
I swear you guys got crazy.
Unless we didn't, I don't remember. But
I swear you guys did something
But
on
honestly, I
tour
don't
where,
think so, but-
where you managed to go out to Europe and the crowds were going
I know-
crazy for you, but maybe that was a
I know
different
we
thing,
were
but-
selling a lot.
Right.
I think we sold more more of like the Music and Mouth words and the Cage 7 and stuff like that. We sold more of that stuff, I think, Europe-wise than we did like
Mental.
in the UK.
That's crazy.
You know, Germany and all that area. We're really digging it, like, so. That's where it came about, or maybe we did go, but I've got like a very scattered memory of that. Past,
Fair enough.
Too much weed.
What were your when you were working in that? What were you trying to achieve? Did you feel were you trying to get up and down the country and put out stuff? And what was the?
No, we wanted
to,
the whole point. I mean, like yourself, we always wanted to, you know, bring everybody. The whole point. One of the things in hip hop is like an unwritten law is if you make it, you bring everyone else up with you. And that attitude, we adopted that attitude to us heart, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why we did stuff like, you know, we created DTTS. We started putting on nights of cells, you know. I know we had bread bins and stuff, but we were putting on Disgrace Lands and the one in Jews. We grew up north, and we were associated with a lot going on in that way, because we wanted to bring everybody from our scene up and give them chances. You know, so every time we put a night on, we try and get a big act that'd draw a crowd, but then with all the supporting acts would be people who needed that limelight, you know what I mean? And we continue to do that throughout the entire time we was doing his own stuff, you know what I mean? So it was a big thing for us doing that, you know?
Definitely. What happened? There does seem like a big gap, basically, between where you were super busy and doing your No Pretense stuff, and then kind of out the other side now, you've done stuff in the last 5 years and sort of up to present of your own. What happened in that big gap there? Did you lose interest in music, or
I basically left the scene.
Right.
So I was going through a lot of mental issues, a lot going on in my life, I guess, and not just in life, but in the music industry with people I was working with and stuff, and we were having creative differences and nothing bad, you know what I mean? It was just one of those things, and after we released Horror Epics, we'd already done like we'd pretty much written half of the third No Pretense album, which was Bloodwork, but it never came to light. And then the fourth album, we'd written that completely, all done, which was TCSP, you know, the Chin Strap Penguin stuff.
Yes, I've heard
pretty much finished. We'd had Eject doing the artwork and all kinds of stuff going on. It was pretty much ready, but I don't think it was entirely my fault, but I think I was part of it, and I basically handed my resignation in. Basically, that's what I did. You know what I mean? I told Bane, I told Dead, I told them all. I sent them a message. Just says, look, I quit.
Because where your mental health was this?
That was a big part of it. There were other parts I won't say, but I basically quit, and I'd had enough.
Okay.
Because the thing is, I'd spent since I was 11-year-old putting my entire life into this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'd gotten rid of opportunities like a girl I used to see in Liverpool, and I'd moved back to Yorkshire to pursue the music when, you know, I was almost starting a family, or could have started a family with a girl, and things like that. So I'd literally put everything to the side.
On hold for the music.
All for the music.
So why then did you get to such a point with it? Because you were obviously very busy, records under your thing, big reputation, big name, to then go.
You see, without going into the music side of it, it was the life side of it. So because we did a track, me and Gov did a track together, Bruce Banner Movement.
Yeah, I remember.
And we made I made an animated video.
Yeah.
And I was one of the first in the West Yorkshire area to do an animated video.
Right.
I don't think that, to my knowledge, anyone else had done one at that point.
Okay.
I know Spider had done a couple of music videos like Verbal Assassin and stuff like that. Yeah. But I'd done that on literally Windows Media Player. It took me a long time. Oh, it was
Hardman, fucking Wallace and Gromit doing that every day.
Oh God, yeah. But so we released that, but at the time that was the lead up to an album I'd written called Corporal Mortification, which was pretty much finished.
Solo.
And that was going to be my release before Horror Epics.
Right.
And it was about hatred. And it was hatred for society and people around me, because I had a thing with that. People's complacency was doing my head in about what was going on in the world, you know what I mean? And I was angry. I was a very angry person for a very long time.
Musically, I would say anger is like in your Venn diagram. Very much so, man. You know what I mean?
Definitely. So I'd lost it, and I was literally on the edge. I mean, I got rid of my house and moved into a camper van and everything, and then that's why that never came out, because I'd completely lost it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was already like on that borderline. if you
And
get
what
me
you were saying
meaning.
about the Bruce Banner video, was it something
Yeah.
about that specifically that it was
Yeah,
like...
well, it was to do with politics, not just politics specifically, but what goes behind the scenes of politics and real.
Do you mean in terms of West Yorkshire hip hop, not in terms
No,
of literally
I'm
the
sort
land
of
politics?
allowing my issues with the hip hop scene to stay out of this.
I get you.
You get me?
Yeah, I get
so
you.
not that there's anything bad like specific to anybody, you know what I mean? But I did kind of fall out with the scene because I felt there was only a select few of people in the scene that were really in it for everybody, and everyone else had this attitude. I mean, we all have ego and that because it's part of it, but they had this attitude there where they just get everything for themselves, and I was getting a bit sick of that nitpicking. You know what I mean?
That's still the case now, I'd say, and a lot of getting people to... I guess fundamentally, like, music's kind of your own individual pursuit, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, and if you get any sort of light, you almost want to keep that for yourself.
Yeah.
And then we've got this community thing where actually, if we can all band together as we did as West Yorkshire, certain people can get more light as a result of it and trampoline up, and then you're hoping that they reach back.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Try and bring you back.
Exactly.
But 99 times out of 100 they don't.
No.
And you're almost going, and there's a part of you that you can either get fucking angry with it or you can be going, oh, well, fair play. You know what I mean? And
exactly. It took me a while to get to that point of like, you know what, fair play. You know, everyone's their own person.
Whereas at the time,
I've been on that journey, you know what I mean? But at the time, I was like, oh, you know what? These guys, why? You know what I mean? After everything we've done, like you guys were doing for people, you know what I mean? A select of the few, and we were all like these like small pockets around the 5 boroughs doing things for people, and all these others were just latching on like leeches, and I was like, no, what the... You know what I mean? You were doing my head in at the time. Fair play, and like I say, I've moved on and I look at it differently now, but that's how I felt at the time. So basically I dropped off.
Right. Did you stop writing then? Was it I
just stopped everything.
Right. So you literally, after all that effort and hard work on your own part, as well as the community, you did just go, fuck music.
I said I don't want anything to do with it at all. Because I had other things, other responsibilities. I had a family. I was starting a family. I had a kid, and I was trying to sort all that out. I was working all the time, and I just thought, you know what? I think I spent, 25 years at that point or something, 20 years, where I've just put everything into it, and I need to now focus on building what should be important to me, which is my family, you know what I mean? So that's what I did for about 5 years. 5 years I dropped off.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I didn't even really speak to Bane or anybody, you know what I mean? It was just like, I literally just cut everything out.
Just to concentrate.
And then Galvatron, Livewire.
Yeah, Livewire again always comes up.
Yeah, no, he does, doesn't he? He's always in the background,
does,
isn't he?
Yeah.
But he got in touch with me, and he just said, all right, Muz, I'm doing some beats. I wondered if you'd mind writing to one, and I was going to send it over then. And he sent it over, and I thought, actually, I'm feeling this, and I wrote it straight away. You know what I mean?
And that had been the first thing you'd written in 5 years or something.
Yeah. So I wrote it, I sent it back to him, and then he sent me another beat, and I wrote another track. And we ended up doing like 4 or 5 tracks together, and I was going around to his, and we were working on some stuff, and I'm like, I'm feeling this, you know what I mean? And he got the spark back for me, you know what I mean? So I'm mad gratitude for him, you know what I mean, to do that.
Right.
But then we had some creative differences. We decided to go a different way, you know what I mean? Like, because he's doing other music anyway, and I wanted to pursue something different. Yeah. And then at that point, I started getting in touch with a few different people to try and get beats.
Yeah, including Gov, I bet.
Well, I did get in touch with Gov, and I started a project with Gov, which still hasn't seen the light of day.
Really?
But
we've heard a couple of tracks off it. Was Filth not one of them?
Filth is one of them, yeah. But it's along that line, so it's quite sort of not very ear-friendly.
It
but
really isn't ear-friendly,
no,
that shit, is
but
it?
This is the thing, you see. This is what I liked about the crew I had at the time. Especially me and Bane, we liked to make music. After Music and Mouthwords, we wanted to make music that offended. Not necessarily what we said offended, but it was
artistically.
So just make music that isn't gonna sit in someone's paradigm. Go, that's acceptable. We just wanted to make it how we felt at that time. Yeah. And if it was like so far removed from anybody's like sense of normal, it didn't matter. You know what I mean? And I guess I've held on to that as well. And I think he has as well with Atlantis when he released that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's very like different.
Even then, something like was it Filth, that one that you did with Gov? What was that called?
Yeah, Filth. That's off the Duality.
That's as close to like heavy metal as like hip hop can get without actually being anything like heavy metal.
Yeah, it's very just industrial,
like,
isn't it? It's
really industrial, really just like jarring, but like still like, as I've always thought, like just as an example, a friend of mine was in a heavy metal band years ago, played guitar amazingly, and there was a singer who just screamed like a fucking goblin over the whole thing. And it was like jarring, you know what I mean? It was what it was. And at one time, I read his lyric book. I didn't know what the fuck he was saying. Saw his lyric book, and the poetry was I was like, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
This is amazing. So well put. And the same applies for that filth. There are bars in that.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember hearing them just being like, this is so sick.
Yeah.
But in amongst this fucking hellish soundscape, it's really tricky.
Yeah,
but
well, this is it. There's a track on there that, called Now and Forever, and the lyrics are really like about our immortality as spirits and souls, and it's really good. But then the beat itself is like really like contrasting to it. You're like, I sent someone the lyrics the other day because they were asking about it, and I sent them the lyrics, and they're like, oh, that's beautiful, man, that's beautiful. And this is kind of listen to the track. I sent the track, like, what the fuck? Yeah, and it's like, I just like the idea of that. Oh, hold on a minute, you know what I mean? No, actually, I'll listen to it later.
Did you write to the beat? So did Guff send you that mad shit?
Oh,
and then you wrote to that?
Yeah, which ain't always easy.
Yeah, because that's getting inspiration. Because the thing is, like, someone sends me a beat that I'm not feeling. It can be amazing in whatever regard, and I'm just like, I can't write to this. It's just not giving me any. So you must be similar in that it's like that's an inspiring sound for you or whatever.
Yeah,
but
it was. Well,
like,
I don't know if you've ever actually heard Gov's release on Trauma Kill. He worked with the guys. He's living in Brighton, innit? So one of the guys, his mates down there, they did like I think it was just digital, like EP or album of instrumental, and it's that type of music.
Right.
And he sent me that, and I heard it, and I was just like, oh, this is like right up my street, this sort of music, you know what I mean?
Shit. And is this something like in your day-to-day, do you listen to that kind of stuff? Because obviously you grew up listening to Cypress Hill and stuff.
Don't, actually.
Are you listening to some magic?
No, I just listen to 90s hip-hop. Honestly.
So is there nothing that you hear that you're like, well, I guess you're kind of cutting your own niche in that way by like doing stuff
kind
like
of,
that.
but it's funny because it's like I don't want to listen to the music I make.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Like, I literally on the way here, I put my debut solo album on, that The Dead Weight.
Oh, yeah.
And listened to the whole thing. Now, there's another reason why I won't listen to that, because it's very attached to the death of my nephew.
Right.
One of the tracks on there. So there's another reason why I can't even look at the album cover or anything, you know what I mean?
Fair.
But I listened to it anyway, and it's like I hadn't listened to it since I brought it out, which was 2-3 years ago, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, well, but I'm listening to it and thinking, this is actually pretty sick, you know what I mean? why is no one like, coming and like, getting me autographed, you know what I mean?
Did that only come out on Bandcamp? Because I was trawling through your.
No, I was going to
it.
bring you the album, a CD. I came out on CD and cassette tape. But I was going to bring you the album, but I've got my mate staying at mine, and he was asleep in the room where they are, and I didn't want to wake him up this morning.
That's fair.
I should have got it last night.
Next time, man.
But I'll send it across to you.
Yeah, do, man. Well, because like release-wise, if people wanted to like get into Mury P, Muz, the Don at this point, there is only a sort of small collection of music, I think, on Spotify anyway. As you Bandcamp more?
I don't do Spotify, so
don't do
there's
Spotify.
just some old stuff on Spotify. Bandcamp's a bit more recent. I guess YouTube, this is the thing, you know what I mean? I'm a bit all over the place.
Yes.
I'm not a marketing type of guy.
Well, fair.
You know what I mean? Like, I was doing busking, when I first came back after those 5 years.
Really?
I did my album, I produced it all myself because I couldn't get a producer to work with me.
What?
Because we're all busy or, you know what I mean? Which I understand.
Yeah, fair
And I've just
enough.
come back in the scene thinking, oh yeah, I know everyone in this scene.
Yeah, you've got
And
all
I'm
the
like, who the fuck's
connections.
this guy? Who's this guy? Who's
Yeah,
this guy?
yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm starting from scratch here. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to do everything myself, which is what I usually do anyway.
Yeah.
Because I've got a very short patience with other people to work with them, really. You know what I mean? And it's a barrier of mine. So, yeah, so I did it all myself, produced everything myself, and then I thought, get out there. And that's when I met NukeFam, I know I probably met him before.
Because I think Escar was looking up to you, definitely was playing your shit back in the day.
Well, we did a track together, didn't we?
Of course.
And I did the video for him.
Word, right, yeah.
Yeah,
Because he's
so-
always been a big
He
champion
came to
of
my
your...
wedding, did Esker, you know what
No
I mean?
way,
Yeah,
right.
And
Yeah,
me-
he's
and
always
me
had so
stag
much
do.
respect for you too,
Yeah,
like you and Bates.
he's a cool guy, Esker. I like him a lot, But so I met NukeFam and they were showing me love, and I went to their launch party. I think I did something there. That was the first time I performed.
Mad.
On my own as well.
Mad.
Right, because usually I perform with Bane and Megamouth and Ball Z and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Bar 120 and that.
Mega, what is it? Balls deep in your Megamouth. I used to introduce them on stage. But because I was so used to producing with someone and having that backup, it was a bit strange to do it on my own, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially with my flow. My flow is quite there's not a lot of places to take breath sometimes, you know.
You've got to get it right for live performance, unless you've got a hype man or two to like fill in.
Nice,
like,
you know. But, so I went busking, and I sold most of my album doing busking.
Where were you busking, bro?
I did Bradford, I did Leeds, I did Wakefield.
And what were you just rocking up to wherever the fuck?
I would just walk, because you're supposed to get a permit or something.
You are,
and I was like, no,
I'll just move you on and
so I just moved, exactly. So I just took my shit. I had a bit of a cardboard sign, and I just set up. Just chose random places.
Just some battery operated amp or something. What did you?
Yeah, just an amp, just a battery operated amp.
Yeah.
Mic plugged in.
And you were just spitting to people.
Yeah, I did the whole album. I did the whole album, then I moved spot and did the whole album again, and just kept doing that. And there were people coming up to going, "That's sick, man. That's sick." Saying, "How much for an album?" It's a tenner, man, and like just popping them off. You know what I mean?
think that's like the truest. Because we're all sat there on social media going, "Oh, fucking hell, no one's listening to my shit.
Yeah.
And no one's buying my shit."
It's taking it back to
you
how
go
it
to a
used to be.
fucking I was only talking to Oliver Reese about this. Like you got to a million open mics. You got 5 open mics a week, and do a load of busking in town. You'll soon get people talking about your name. Soon get people buying your stuff if you've got anything about you. Obviously, if you're like shit at performing and like fucking up your bars and swearing at people in public, then maybe it won't go down. But like where did you get most success, would you say, in busking wise? Hoods. So what, you just set up in town and got cracking?
Set up in town. I did it like 2 or 3 times, you know, just like different areas, you know, along that shopping precinct.
Yeah, I do,
There. Just set up there, and I just had random people just watching and coming up and buying the album. I even sold a couple of the horror epics. CDs I had, you know what I mean? Just like sold them off, you know what I mean?
Nice, man.
So yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. I'll probably to go back to it at some point. Not with the Gov stuff. Because I don't think anyone, I'd just be getting people scattering.
Yeah.
But with newer stuff, I'll probably go back to it. You know what I mean? I really enjoyed it.
Just going back to where you kind of left the scene, and obviously you made decisions to like, you know, family first and all the rest of it. But is there something the scene could have given back to you at that point that would have made you less likely to have left, and maybe just parked it this month, parked it that month, but generally still been in the scene? So it was that
No, it was more. Personal than that, I think.
Okay, so that was always going to happen regardless of where
it was at. I think that was just going to happen. It just is what it is, you know what I mean? But it's part of who I am now. It's made me who I am.
Yeah.
So I don't regret anything, you know what I mean? Everything's been done for a reason.
Yeah,
otherwise
of course,
I wouldn't be who I am now, you know what I mean?
Do you feel like you've had, because I thought I sort of said it right at the start, with this changing from Mury P to Muz the Don, so anyone who knew you before has got to kind of re-find you, you know, unless they're really tuned in, and you've already said you're not a social media type person, so joining the dots might have been tricky for them. And then do you feel like you're in this sort of Phoenix having to re-rise from the ashes thing? Are you having to start over effectively? Like,
I kind of felt like I did at the time when I did that album, that debut solo album. I felt like I was, a Phoenix having to be reborn and start everything again. But I've sort of gone a different way with it now. It doesn't guide my life. I've got other priorities, you know what I mean? Like I'm doing starting a podcast and doing some spoken word stuff that we're going to be putting out on video and stuff like
Sick.
So I've got a lot of little like pokey little projects going on, like just creativity, you know what I mean, in all different forms, not just music. But music's in my blood. Making it's in my blood. So it'll always be there. I mean, I've got projects, man, on the go, loads of them.
Have you?
I did the group flex thing, you know, that was another thing. Like when I first came back, I did the group flex, so you know the Swords Out track, and it has got Chemistry and Esker, Precinct Phantom, and
the Watson G on that as well.
That was supposed to have 6 MCs. So the idea behind that was like what you're trying to do with, like we were saying with the WY stuff, bringing people back up again.
Yes.
Because what I wanted to do with that was create a series, so it'd be like an episode, you know what I mean? Group Flex episode 1, you know, 6 MCs, 1 producer.
Yeah.
And then the next one would be episode 2, but it'd be one of those MCs out of the 6 with another 5 MCs. So you'd tie it in like that.
And it's almost like a rapper type sort of.
But it'd be a video and track release every time.
Did you do a video for the Swords one, the first one? Did you? Oh man, I've seen that. So because you've been directing video and you're doing your own videos for quite a bit now, right?
Yeah. Well, we did the Fuck You All on that. That was a corporal mortification thing when that was supposed to come out. Fuck You All and Where It's Heading. With SD and Atco, a singer called Atco, which was good. Yeah. And then I was doing videos for Spider as well at the time. I did 2 or 3.
Which ones did you do for Spider?
Jab Jab.
Right,
which
classic.
is a dope video.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I
yeah.
really enjoyed
Mental
working
video,
on that, yeah. And there was another one which I think Kalashnikov did a remix of.
Oh, right.
I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head now, but I did that as well. And then obviously I did one for Eska. And there was another guy in Castleford who was like very commercial rapper. I did a few videos for him.
Right. Nice. Are you back on the scene offering your services to the general public?
If people want to pay me for my skills, then
Yeah,
totally, man. You know what I mean?
We need a landing page for that shit so we can just go, it's X amount of money per, you know what I mean?
But
or whatever.
bear in mind, I've got like a backup of like 5 or 6 videos already for my own stuff. But I'm just like, I'm literally like at the point now where I don't put a time limit, because that was my, like, that was tripping me up all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
This has got to be done by now.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Right.
And then I'd might advertise it saying it's going to be out by this time, and then I get to that time and it's only halfway done, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, I'm going to have to go back and tell everyone it's not going to come out now. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I've just literally, I'm trying to get into that mindset where everything's done. If it's a physical release, the physical release is with me, and then work on it from there. You know what I mean? Like, start promoting it and put it out in 2 or 3 months. You know what I mean?
I do, yeah.
It's just, otherwise you just trip yourself up all the time. I remember someone came to me at one point and said, because I put something off for like so long, like 3 or 4 times, and he just says, is this ever actually going to come out on Facebook? And I was like, bro, just don't go there, man. You know what I mean?
You've got to be kind to yourself in those situations. You can't and it's not like you got a record label breathing down your neck. It's one of the few things we've got to be thankful for not getting signed to Universal.
Yeah.
Is like, at least you don't have to kick out 3 albums in the next 2 years or whatever, innit? Like, and it's like,
although for the money I would.
yeah, maybe you would, maybe. Well, that's it. If you just sat in the studio the whole time, it's cool, innit? To be like, fair play, man. We were talking about anger before. Like, you do seem like a much more chilled guy, but I'd say the anger is still really prevalent in your music. Obviously, we were just talking about that Gov track and stuff. Is that something that it just naturally comes out when you're creating, or?
Yeah, I think in everything I do creative, it's sort of like it exists in there. You know, it's always there, and it's not just anger. It is anger. There's part anger in there, but it's channeled differently now, you know what I mean? It's not detrimental to me, you know, I use it, you know, I embrace my shadow self, you know what I mean? The darker side of myself, it's part of me, rather than trying to fight it all the time. It's part of me now, you know what I mean? But every time I get a beat, I can't help but write.
And that's the direction it goes.
It kind of comes out, even if it's a very deep metaphor. Even if it's about brushing my teeth, the track, the metaphors will still be talking about what's going on in the world and, you know, something important, you know what I mean? I'm not one of those, like, artists that can just write something about something mundane, you know what I mean? That makes sense.
It does make sense, because I'm that artist.
Yeah, but you've created something, you know what I mean? You're good at it, you know, you've worked at it, and like you and J&D and that's all the synoptic stuff.
Always been like that vibe, innit?
Yeah, the Shedmen, all that stuff. You know, I mean, you've got some, obviously, you know, depth to some of the tracks.
Sure, yeah.
You sort of...
It's a variation of emotions a lot of the time.
At being able to take something mundane, like going to work, and just writing an entire, like, dope track about it, you know.
I like the idea of you writing a track about brushing your teeth, though. I could imagine you writing it. Did you? Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. I don't remember the lyrics. No, it never came out.
Oh, right. But I can imagine, like, the repetition of that and, like, almost brushing until they bleed kind of thing being a metaphor for, like, repetition in life and stuff.
It was a metaphor for shit MCs, basically.
There you go, then.
We gammy teeth.
Nice.
Yeah, I did, but it never came out.
Bro, sorry, I'm bouncing back and forth in terms of topics that you mentioned, but the Swords track that you did with Chemistry and Watson G. Yeah. I remember us talking on Instagram before we got this podcast booked in, where you were like, you want to do more for the scene, and you wanted to do this compilation thing. So originally that was going to be 6 rappers, and it ended up as less because useless people are useless people kind of thing. Is that
basically, yeah.
But is that have you shelved that concept? Because it was quite a nice idea.
It was a nice idea, but the video itself. Another thing about being creative, I don't know whether you suffer from this, but I get an idea and I think this is a video I'm going to do, and then as I'm halfway through the video and that's the idea, I think, oh, this will look good. And then I add something to it, and I think, no, but this will look good as well. And then before I know it, I've not progressed. I'm just adding more layers of,
I get you.
of complexity to this video or to this track or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I'm never going to get this done.
I don't master my music for that reason, because once it's mixed in my eyes, I'm like, cool. And at the point you master it, it's like, it's nice with that
I
bit
just
of,
pass it to Gov.
Yeah, exactly. I've got a Gov, you know what I mean? And like, just give it to the right person with the right ears to sort out. So it was the video that was the main stumbling block for that not coming out. Was it like?
It was the video, but it was also again my mental issues, I guess. My struggle with just being alive in this reality, because I fluctuate. You know what I mean? I'm much better now than I was 2 years ago, but at the time I was like struggling a bit and. In my relationships and stuff, so it'd be just like really hard to sort of focus, and with not getting responses back from other MCs to get on it, because I thought the idea was a brilliant idea, you know what I mean, and I thought it'd benefit everybody, but no one was reciprocating, you know what I mean, like I wanted them to. And I get that people have lives, like I've got a life, and sometimes I don't reciprocate like I should, you know what I mean, and it's all good, you know what I mean, it happens, but it was just a bit disappointing to me. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake, come on, guys, you know what I mean?
G and everyone into action and that.
Yeah.
You kind of got to be that guy. You're either the guy who it pisses you off. Well, it pisses me off, right? But I just have to go, this is what I do. And this is I exist because these people are useless. Yeah. So I'll just keep fucking G'ing them on.
You're better than me, bro, if that's what you can do.
Well, it's not about that, but it's just like I mean, part of one of the jobs that I do that's got nothing to do with hip hop. I'm an in between for a manufacturer and customers. The people who make some shit don't want to talk to these guys, but if I talk to these guys, I can take a bit of the money in between. Yeah. And I don't do fuck all, but I make money from it because these guys are fucking useless. These guys are largely cunts. Yeah. And then I just sort of make it work in the middle. And it's just, and sometimes I'm like, why are these being so annoying and these being cunts? And I'm like, this is what I get paid for. Yeah. Like, I literally just have to sit here and go, just be me and everything.
Seems like it's just built in your nature, man.
It is. I think there is a part of me too that, like, and almost benefiting off other people's talent, you know what I mean? And the raw materials over here or whatever. Or it's like, it's always been that way. But I think with a little bit of grit and determination, that's got to be the thing. But again, if mental health's getting in the way of it, like I've stopped for massive swathes of time. I mean, I only really picked up the WY promotion thing this year, having not really done it since 2013, 14 or something. Maybe it's been 10 years for me since I last went community. Just so I can't say that I am. And similar reasons to you, where it's just like, I'm not in the headspace for this shit right now. And fair enough kind of thing. Because it is a lot of going... You know what I mean? A lot of people go, why are you doing this now? Oh, why are you responding to that? You know what I mean? The opportunity's there. You can literally, it's horses to water always with this sort of thing, isn't it? Like, but it's how much you can bear with that. Yeah. It's interesting with you, bro, because you sort of, I think a lot of people make music for like, to improve, to kind of keep their mental health on a level. But it feels like with you...
Love-hate relationship, man. It's crazy, you know what I mean? Honestly, I don't think I've met anyone with that same relationship with the music. It saved my life in many ways, but it's also been a detriment. You know what I mean? But I think that's a personality trait of mine. Sorry, a personality trait of mine is like I said, flogging a dead horse. I just don't know when to let it die. Just leave it. You know what I mean? I get it in my head, and I'm like, no, do it. And even if it's not working, like, nah, I'm doing it. I'm just gonna do it. Nah, I'm doing it.
Mode.
Yeah. Okay, and I've always been that way. You know what I mean? And it's like, I have to just pull the reins. Like, I'll learn to pull the reins and go, no, just move on from that. But like I said, it's in your blood. It's in your blood for so long. It's there
you naturally
forever.
Go around to do it.
You know what I mean? And to be honest, that 5-year gap, that was killing my soul. I didn't realise it, but it was killing my soul because the music, the hip hop feed does feed my soul.
Yeah,
or creativity itself. You know what I mean? But yeah, so coming back and Galvatron giving me that like spark again. Yeah, that really set fire back in my soul. I was like, you know what, I missed this. I've missed this, man. You know what I mean?
And I guess if you get in the same headspace in the future, you'll be like, well, I know that not doing it hurts more, so it's like something I can park it, but I'd like to come back to it sooner because it'd be a shame to lose you for another 5 years or whatever.
Oh, no.
So are you, is this, speaking of which, are you kind of like drawing a line? Are you like, I'm back on it, I'm doing my thing? Because the spoken word sounds really interesting as well. Like,
I'm back on it, but I'm not back on it as vehemently as I used to be. You know what I mean? It's not the be all and end all of my life now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got my daughter, which is the main part of my life, and then I've got work, which supports me and my daughter. So they're priority always. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
Until I don't have to work anymore. You know what I mean? But the music will always be there. You know, but
Yeah.
like I say, I just don't put any time restraints on. So you might not hear from me for like 12 months,
Yeah.
then suddenly you might get like 2 albums at once. You know what I mean? Just because, like, I've got a track from Mickey Swags where he's doing guitar. It's like, you know, heavy metal called Rap God.
Okay.
And that I'm like halfway through doing the video, but I've stopped because I'm doing other creative stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's an animated video, you know what I mean? Again, so and it's a sick track, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna get it out, but I don't want to drop it until I know that the Duality stuff with Gov is ready. You know what I mean?
That's the right. I see. You want to
Because
get
there's
that
no point
ready.
throwing it out there and then staying quiet for 6 months.
What's your
you know?
what? Because you're like, I'm not a social media guy. I'm not. You know what I mean? How are you gonna get back busking in Huddersfield Town?
I'm
again?
definitely going to do busking again, but
Sick.
I've got to have the right material for that. I can't just
True.
do-
You can't just turn up with filth, as you say. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I've got another project that I'm on with, which is a bit more suitable,
Yeah.
friendly.
Is that got anything to do with? Because I've seen 2 tracks of yours. The most recent tracks I've seen of yours, indeed, were Unfinished Symphony. You did a version of the Verve. You did some rapping over
yeah.
that, and then this Paulo Nutini one, which has got like 40,000
Oh mate,
plays on Spotify.
Mate, I earn money every year, you know, off that.
And-
It's
but-
mental.
but
And I'm
Paulo
like,
Nutini's
I'm
in the
like,
credits.
nobody's following me, man. They're following Paulo, you know what I mean? But I don't care as long as I'm
Paulo
getting the money
Nutini's
for
in the
it.
credits. How did you pull that off? Because surely because I assume Paulo Nutini
Right, I
didn't
hope this
sign
don't
up
get
on
back to it, like where it,
It
you know,
won't, bro,
just
don't
stop
worry.
it. But I had this problem. So I did the Iron Sky track, yeah.
that. That's right.
I did it at the time of, you know, all the COVID stuff and all that because
Yeah, it was
I had-
2020.
yeah, so it was a lot related to what was going on in the world
Yeah,
then.
it's beautiful. I've only just posted it today. It's a beautiful
yeah,
song.
yeah.
like.
So I did that, and then it just gathered momentum like mad, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. You know what I mean? I'm like, nobody's listening to me. They're listening to Paulo, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's just nice. It's one of those little gems that you can imagine someone going, wow, it's got some like unusual rapper on it. That's mental. You know what I mean?
Well, the
So-
picture, you've even done the artwork with like you
Yeah.
and him as if it was like some
well,
collaboration.
the idea I had then was do something called Super Friends, but again, there's no time limit on it. So I did
Verve with one.
Lean on Me,
Oh, did that as
Bill
well.
Withers. So I've
Yeah.
released that track, and I put that through my digital
And it
distribution
got all right.
company.
No, it didn't pick up
No.
on it. Ah,
No, they
didn't like that
rejected
one.
it,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
was like, "Why the fuck are you?" And I had backwards and forwards for ages, going, "Why are you rejecting it? You accepted Iron Sky, but you rejected this."
Did you say, oh, we shouldn't have accepted Iron Sky,
Yeah,
mate. We'll delete that
That's
one too.
basically what they said. So eventually they came out and says, "Well, we shouldn't have accepted that," and that went through by accident.
Accident.
And I'm like, yeah, okay, it's
Okay,
all right,
that
don't worry,
sounds
mate.
fine.
And I'm thinking, fuck. Because I thought I'd be able to make a killing off doing a full album worth of tracks that I really love that aren't hip hop.
Could
and just
almost
writing
do
to it.
like an Iron Monkey. Iron Monkey's done stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's
he
weird.
has, yeah.
Like what you've done there, like so some people's opinion of it might be like, oh, it's a bit bait to be like putting Paulo Nutini's name on it and stuff like that or whatever. But actually, it's really fucking punk.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
just go, well, there's a fucking big
But
song.
he gets money off it. You know
Does
what I
he?
mean?
Yeah, is he still
gets
getting
10%
splits
of
off it?
royalties.
Does he? Yeah.
Yeah, and I get 90.
Mental.
So
How did you get that agreement through? Just
so
just added him
if
on
you do a
distro?
cover track, apparently you can do that.
Oh, so it's like you've done it,
So
run
it's
it as a
classed
cover.
track. But obviously
You get
it's
10.
not quite because it's literally all him and then just 2 verses from
Yeah,
me.
but the verses sound sick. It sounds like it was meant to be that.
Yeah,
to
I
be
know.
honest.
But that's what I've tried to do. So I've got a few other tracks in mind that I'm doing, but I did Bittersweet Symphony last.
Yeah,
You know,
that's one I've heard recently.
And
yeah.
I put it through the distribution company again, thinking they're going to reject that. They haven't done.
They were sound with that.
They've accepted it, but you know what they put? They put like a, what is it? Something like experimental version or something in brackets.
You didn't put that.
So I reckon whoever's got it through and is assessing it, thought, oh, that's that guy who was talking to for ages. It's like, oh, we'll put it through for him. We'll just put experimental
Nice.
version. So it's gone through and
Who's
it's
your
getting
distribution
streamed and
company,
that.
man?
Yeah.
They've smashed it for you. Because, mate, honestly, there's a little bit of a hack that to what you've done here, and I remember Baby D from Alphabetics did something
Yeah.
similar where he did a beat, a Jay-Z track. And
Yeah.
he made the beat basically, and he put the acapella over, and he got millions of views, man.
Yeah.
Just from like the name, you know, people are searching that, and I think
Yeah.
it's a good way for people to find out about
Well,
you.
the
Why
whole
the fuck
WY
not?
thing was created that way, you know what I mean? Off the
Yeah.
back of something that was already
NY,
massive.
innit? Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Well, Sugar Hill Gangs, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
came off
exactly.
Good Times from Chic and
you
all
know
the
what I
rest
mean?
of it. So.
Some of the best like lies are believed because there's essence of truth in it. You know what I mean? It's the same pattern, man. You know what I mean? So as long as you got that pattern,
yeah.
I believe that's going to work, or that's what I thought. It didn't work with the Bill Withers one, but
Yeah,
the
next one, like,
it might do, you know what I mean? And I think once I've composed like 10, 12 tracks of selected tracks, you know, and then I'm going to put out an album and put it out as a physical.
It's a good idea.
Called Super Friends, you know what I mean?
It's a good one for you playing out in town and stuff as well. People will lap that shit up.
Oh, totally,
yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the projects I've got, like, I'm just working on as and when I've come round to it, you know what I mean?
I think it's a good idea.
But I got another one called Fred and Annette tapes. So the entire album I'll be releasing on vinyl.
Right.
Purple vinyl and stuff. And
wow.
Basically, because I was a plumber before, I was taxi driving now, but I was plumbing. Yeah. And I used to go to different buildings and check the water mains and disinfect them and stuff. And I was in this boiler room in this building in near Runcorn.
Right.
And it was like run down. There's like one person living in one of the flats and all the rest were abandoned. And I was in there and I saw on this dirty shelf, dusty shelf, some cassette tapes. And I was like, what the fuck's that? So and there was like a bag of cassette tapes. So I took him. And then inside was a photo with a woman with her tits out. And loads of love letters and a bra and stuff like that, all hidden behind this shelf. And I'm like, what is this? So I took it home and I bought a cassette player and that and played it. And it's basically this woman from America. It sounds like it's from 90s or something like that, but a woman from America who was having an affair with a guy from Liverpool called Fred, and she's had his baby and stuff, and I'm like, me and who was my wife then, listening to this thing, and we're like, what the fuck, reading the letters and all that.
Oh my God.
And I just, this is amazing. And then at the end of every tape, she gets the vibrator out. And she starts playing with herself running, and I'm like, "This is insane." So I thought, "This is album worthy."
So you're gonna chop it all up, and
I'm just gonna do an album based on
Wow.
the relationship between Annette and Fred. You know what I mean?
Beautiful concept album. How much of the vibrator stuff are you leaving in?
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Fucking hell, mate! I love the idea of that though. What a beautiful concept as a whole, like to work on. Yeah. Man, you got a few irons in the fire, and you want about physical then. So you're just gonna put the money into those
yeah,
things,
well, we're going to do a physical for this Duality. We go. We've got. I don't know whether I should say. We've got a popular name on one of the tracks. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. So all in the bag and sorted.
Yeah, it's already done. You know, we're just getting cuts.
Little double.
We've got Farmer G on a track.
Oh shit!
So
nice.
And there's me, Bane, and Farmer G.
Nice, very cool. He made the beat, did he? Or did
no, it's all Gov's beats.
Oh, okay, sick.
And then we've got DJ Baboon who's doing the cuts on it.
Baboon's cutting again. Okay, good news.
So that's part of it. But I want to I spoke to Gov, and obviously we want to release it on physical. It's a bit it's a couple of years gone by now, but stuff like that stands the test of time.
As long as you're not going, Mury P, 2019 in this motherfucker.
Exactly.
That's the lesson to learn.
So, but the track with Farm is obviously a bit more recent. You know what I mean? Because it's just taken a long time to get done. But yeah, so we're hoping to get it out on vinyl.
Very cool.
And we're open to sort of how we're going to do that yet. You know what I mean? I don't know if we're going to go and get a label to help us or just put it out ourselves. Yeah. Because like I said, I'm not a marketing guy.
That's it.
And I just don't know what I'm doing anymore.
That's it. It's the guaranteed listenership, isn't it? It's a brave new world out there, man. I don't really know what to make of it and how to get things through to people. I can't even get people from Instagram reels of a YouTube video to the actual YouTube video itself.
You've lost me already, bro.
I've just posted that I've got a YouTube video out. That's had tens of thousands of views, and with the direct link to the YouTube, and the YouTube's had fuck all views. And it's like, people are, how am I getting you from off Instagram onto this thing where, do you know what I mean? And never mind buy the album. And I've had a lot more trouble trying to get people to commit to physical without literally DMing them and going, are you going to buy it? And they go, oh yeah, fuck. Or, I didn't even know it was out. Because they're seen it or whatever, so I don't know what to do with that shit.
I'm like Eska's album.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it. I told him I was
going to buy it. You haven't got that shit yet?
No, I just don't. I know. I'm
hang your head in shame.
I know. I'm even on it, man. You know what I mean? And I haven't even got it. I haven't even given him the money for a copy,
Fuck.
And it's just I need to just sort my head out. You know what I mean? The finances and just get it done. And
I think music. I say this all the time on the podcast, so I try not to bore the fucking regular listener too much, but it's got to a point where you can have any music right now, right this second. We'll just put Escar's whole album on now.
Yeah.
And he's against Spotify and stuff, but we can still do it now.
Yeah.
And if your mortgage has gone up by 400 quid this month or whatever, you can't really afford luxury of going, I'll buy a vinyl, I'll buy a CD, but I can get this shit for free right here, so I'm going to do it.
That's the thing, you know what I mean?
And it's so and it's scaring people off from putting physicals out I've seen fewer and fewer people do it. So we need.
But I think there's a love for putting a physical out.
There is, and you will get some diehards, but it's like shifting them all with little to no name and little to no social media presence.
Yeah,
I'd say you've got a long fight ahead of you if you're going to put some out. Man. Not that you shouldn't do it, but I'm still trying to figure out. There feels like there should be some West Yorkshire kind of swap shop vibe, or where there's a shop somewhere, or like I don't know, but
there's vinyl shops about in there. They need like a West Yorkshire section, you know what I mean? And stuff
it's
like
something
that.
I really want to talk to Jumbo Records about, but I need to actually talk to the guy. But he's always been really supportive of West Yorkshire hip hop, so that's something that should happen. But
he has,
Wakey Wah Records, you've been in there. He's an absolute legend, and he'd do something like that. So I feel like there would be, but then even then, it's just like a bit of point of sale. Is that going to?
Then a lot of the artists can't afford to put a physical out, and that's the thing. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's hard.
It's hard, full stop, innit? Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
No one will thank you for it.
And generally, I've not heard of many people getting the return back.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
You sit with like, you got 4 boxes left at home, and you're like, they just sat there like 4 years later, you're like, what's in there? You're like, yeah.
But you've proved that busking, getting the fuck out there into people's faces and performing there, people will
I would
part
love
with
to
their
walk
change.
through town and see like 4 or 5 different rappers. Just busking.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'd buy out. If I were in that moment, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll have that.
Give you cash, no worries at all.
100%.
I think that's probably the way. I think more of us need to get in front of people, because I sell more records at gigs than I do just randomly online, generally speaking. And it's all about just being in front of people. So I think that's the best way, and just being punk, not having a fucking license, just getting out there and just performing and
But this collaboration thing as well, I think people just need to
the swords thing.
Not that specifically, but I just think it's good if people just not cross genre but across borough, just collaborate.
Working with
I
each
don't know
other,
whether I mean I might be wrong, but I don't know whether people have this idea that I don't want to work with him because I don't like his style. But so like to me as an artist, I'm just like I literally do anything with anyone.
If you get on board with the beat and you can get on board with the
I'll
style,
just be like,
whatever,
if anyone approaches me for a feature, I'm like, I'll jump on that. Man,
more people need to be hollering you for features. I'd like to see you
doubt
work.
Everybody hates my voice, man.
It'd be a nice thing to see. Honestly, I think you were doing the Lord's work with that collaboration, and I think maybe you gave up a little earlier in time. But if you've got loads of irons in the fire, it's difficult to like prioritize that thing. But I still think, because I've got this list of like the 200 or so producers and rappers in West Yorkshire, and there's just
I can't believe there's that many, man. That's
I
mental,
know,
isn't it?
and it's growing all the time. I feel this collaboration opportunities. He's just nailing them down. Have you written it yet? Some people will write some shit in a week and that'll be cool, but sometimes you know yourself, you'll write some shit half written in a week and then you won't finish it for a month, and then maybe you won't.
I've just done that now.
Yeah.
Someone sent me Boswell Thompson.
Oh,
Boswell Thomas.
Yes.
He sent me a beat, and I wrote like literally the entire thing apart from the last like 6 bars. And I still haven't written the 6 bars. And I wrote it because I tend to write my lyrics while I'm driving. Which isn't safe, but while I'm at work, I'll write them. You know what I mean? Just as I'm driving, I'm like, and I'll write it as I'm trying to drive. On my phone.
Doing your bits and bobs and things.
So, but then I writ it all that night when he sent me it. I was like, it's nearly done, and then I'll finish those 6 bars when I get home. And I've still not done it, and I'm like, come on, Muz.
I guess if he's in your ear, like going, have you got that verse?
He's cool. Like, you know what I mean? He's happy. Like, he was amazed that I got that much done straight away. You know what I mean? But if I feel something at me, I literally, I'm like that. Done, you know what I mean? Almost done.
I agree about the collaboration thing. I think more people need to be collaborating across, and we got to find ways of like making that a bit easier, even if there was some like just regular. These are the ongoing collabs.
I think it falls down to producers, but personally though, you know what I mean? If producers, everybody's busy, but if they've got beats and like,
we need more beat tapes knocking around.
That's what I mean.
Like,
just like
guys, like
producers, like what happened like to them producer albums? Like producer come out and say, I'm going to get all these MCs on here.
It
doesn't happen much now, does it?
Not
that I know.
It's fucking work. If I'm Ashfinger and I can get loads of rappers on,
like, dope as well,
but if I can get, Ashfinger could get pretty much any MC in WY and beyond on a tape, or he could just put out a load of instrumentals and just have his own name and not have to harass a load of fucking stoners. I'm with it. I can get with it. I understand why.
I guess that's it, though, isn't it? It's the whole, when you're working with like 50 chefs, it's like, do you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
You need to like this, and like, then the mix isn't right, and then you've moved
the ideas are great, but putting them into practical, like, it's just,
We'll get there with Graph. I'm probably happy to call it there if you are, Muz the Don.
Yeah, man.
If that's
Yeah,
all right
that's
with
cool.
you, bro. Thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Big
No
fuck
worries.
up.
Always, man.
That was Muz the Don. Great to see him. Great to chill at Temple Newsam. Yeah, go check his music, and there'll be some good stuff going soon. And I think he needs harassing. If you want a video doing and you've seen his work, then you should holler him, man. I think the rates will be good, decently priced. And also, if you want to do collaborations, he's about that too. I think he just needs a little bit of G'ing on. So I think go work with Muz the Don is the conclusion of that. Until next time, big up.